Hello and welcome back once again. And this time I wanted to showcase about my recent project that I have done for the company which I was working with. And yeah, it is about the web scraping. And now you might be guys wondering, it's what it is, web scraping. It's not a big deal. Everybody does it. But I have nothing to post on LinkedIn, and yeah, my YouTube channel was dead. And so I thought, let's do this demonstration, project demonstration video. And that is the reason I want to also, flex that, yeah, I know this stuff. Okay. So let's we dive in. Let me just switch my screen. Yeah. Yeah. So this is an UiPath Studio. If you guys don't know about what UiPath does, basically it's a robotic process automation software. So what it does is it does the automatic job without relying on the cloud solutions like we have available these time. And even this software has that, but instead of that it does it on your local machine. So everything whatever the automation does, it uses your local machine and does the process for you. So the problem statement that I came across with the employer, like he wants to scrape the products of one of the website, and they were been doing this manually. And and I gave myself a thought and think about, if I do this manually, then it's gonna take a really long while, like it's gonna take around 3 to 4 days if I do this in manual process. So I took out my technical hat and thought this, like, yeah, why can't I just do this in automate process? So I came across a solution where it able to scrape around 300 plus products within an half an hour. Okay, I just left my machine when I was on lunch, and everything was ready for me. And yeah, so this is the UiPath Studio, and this is one of my flow which I have worked with, and I will be looking on my screen. So bear with me. Yeah. So the website was this. Okay. And first, when I looked on the website, and first thing I check whenever I visit on any website is what platform did this website was made on. So I have this tool called Wrap and Wrapalizer. This is an Chrome extension, by the way. And when I saw this, it is was made on the WordPress. Okay, and when I saw this, and uh, when I saw this, it's made on WordPress. I got pretty much confident that yeah, the scraping would be possible. And why I was confident is when you are on the content management system, it is very easy to scrape the website, unless the website is made on other web frameworks like PHP, or let's say it was custom made, then it might be difficult to scrape things. But yeah, since it was made on WordPress, I was very much confident that yes, I can pull this up. And basically what my employer wants is, like, I need to open each and every product, collect the title, its MRP, and whatever the contents are there in the description. And alongside, they also wanted me to add the images. Okay, so they wanted me to download the images and do it, they were been doing in the manual process. They were not expecting me to do it automatic. They just gave me the task, and I put on my technical hat and I started doing this process automatically. Yeah, so this was the problem statement that was given to me. Not a problem statement, but the task was given to me to have everything done. So if I'm not wrong, this is around 278 products here, and if we scroll down, it loads all the rest of the products. Okay, first, let me take you to the UI path, and let me explain what I've did here. So first things first, how the first you need to think with the user perspective whenever you are doing the automation. First you need to understand that if I want to do this manually, how will I be doing this? Okay, so first thing is you will open the browser. So since it's a process automation, it doesn't do things on cloud, it does on your local server. So whatever the process you've been doing, that has been given to the software to do this on an automated process. Okay. So I will be opening the website. So I will be opening in this website on which application? On any browser application, let's say Chrome, Edge, everything. So I gave this thing first, like I will be using Chrome for this, and here's the URL, and this is the variable basically, and variable is mentioned right here. So yeah, so this is the URL, and you are going to open the Chrome browser, and you are going to open this URL, this particular URL. Okay, so that is the first flow. And second thing, what I did is I made this in a flow chart. This is a Node version, by the way. If you are not familiar with Node version, basically it connects all the connectors, and you can do it in this way. It is not the exact way to do. You can do it here itself, but I chose to do this on flowchart. So this is the flow which I have created, and it's a very basic flow. First we'll understand the process behind this, then I will get on to what all the things I did and what all the technical challenges I faced during this process. Okay, so coming on to the website, first thing, it has to load each and every product inside this. Okay, and also when if you see, when I scroll, it is loading the product, so there is no pagination. Pagination itself is behind the lazy load. So every product, first it loads the initial 16 products which I have analyzed. That is, it loads 16 products, and when you refresh it, it will load another 16 and another 16, and so on and so forth. So first thing I wanted is, let let me scroll, let me put a scroll event which will first load all the available products here. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And this is actually a different URL, but I have done this, to scrape all the website and in this all the products from this website catalog. And first, what I will do is I will scroll all the way through the bottom so that it will load all the data for me. Once it's done, what I will do is I will try to this is the URL link. So this is the text which has an URL inside, and you can also see at the bottom here. So what I'll do is I will make this as my markup, that this is the element you have to look for every section inside present inside, and you are going to fetch the URL from that. And once that is done, and once I have all my URLs covered, what it will do is it will open each and every URL in the loop. So it will go first this product, and then it will collect the title, it will collect the MRP, it will collect the content, description content, and then it will get me all the URLs of the image. So it will copy the link address for me, and it will store these in Excel sheet. Okay. First, it will store in a data table. Then once everything is on place, then we will uh, move on to the section where we will take this data table and just add it in the Excel sheet. Okay. And basically, this is the flow which I have created. First, first thing I have put uh, 1 second of delay, because if in the automation process, if it is not loaded entirely, and it will take at least 1 to 2 seconds to load the website entirely. And in my case, it was just 1 second was enough. I did a lot of tests to make this, and I understood that website loads in 1 second. So 1 second would be a good benchmark for it. Otherwise, the process of doing this in automation process was taking a really long time. First, I started with the 5 seconds, then I come to two, and then come to one. Okay, so I gave a small delay, and then we have come to the iteration process. So this is the iteration process which I have given. And basically, yes, what I've made you understand at the beginning, that initially this loads 16 products, and once you scroll down, it will load another 16 and another 16, and that's how it works. So what I did is I given the particular range, and that I made a calculation where first I did this manually. In a manual process, I scroll the events, and I counted out how many products are there, and then I divided by 16, and that is what the scroll events are going to be. So okay, so I will divide it by 16, and that will be the amount of times it has to scroll in order to get the entire product. So yeah, so for this case, it was needed 7 times. So I added the 7 times, and then I've given the keyboard shortcut for it, and it was the end button. So if you're clicking on the end button, it will go to the end of the website. And during that process, it was scrolling down to the end portion. And with that lazy load, uh every products were getting loaded. Okay. So this was the process. So this is the first step. This is the second step basically. And on the third step, I gave another delay once it is everything is done. So after the scrolling, yeah. So yeah, this is only the scrolling part. And after the scrolling is done, it will wait for another 1 second. Let's say the last iteration has not loaded the product, then you might miss that 16 products which have not loaded properly. So in that case, I given 1 second of delay. Okay. Next thing, I what I did is I injected a JS script element, and to come to this, what to say, to come, the reason of choosing this activity, it was basically I have tried other elements as well. I have done with get child activity. This is a get child activity. What it get child or children? I don't know. I don't remember now. But 1 second, if I yeah. So it was a find children activity. Okay. So what does this find children activity does is it will give you the selection of the element, and with that it will copy rest of the element which are presented inside the website. And with that, I was pretty much confident, like, yeah, this is the activity, I can use it. But this had an disadvantage, and what was that disadvantage is it was loading only 16 initial products for me. Yeah. So let's say I had a product. page which has more than 16 products. What this activity was doing is it was collecting only the initial one and not all the rest of it. So whatever the scrolling which I did was going in a waste. And I thought, yeah, it is only loading 16 products, then what is the use? It's no, not an use for me. It is only going to load the 16 products and it will only capture 16 products. It's not going to capture rest of the products which I had in this category. And with that, I took a help of an AI, and I came across with the JavaScript injection, which was a function which was written by the Claude AI. And yeah, if you know JavaScript, you might know what it does. First, it will first, it will select all the query. So it's a query selector which I have chose. So this is the query selector, and this will look for every H2 elements inside, which has a class called name, and which will, inside that, it will have an element of a. And once this is selected, it will create a variable which is called urls, and that url will push every elements inside one by one by one. Okay, and this url will have a join function, so it will join all the urls for you inside that. Okay, it's a basic JavaScript 101, so I don't want to go inside the code thing, but I've given you the heads up. And how did I able to manage this is when you are going on the inspect element. If you are a developer, you might know what this does. Basically, sorry, let me just, put this in some place else. Yeah. Okay. So basically, what I did is I went on and selected one. I selected this element particularly, and I try to analyze the part. But you won't be if I only add the query selector which has only the a element. Let's say, but the website will have number of a elements. The a elements are also present in this side, in the header, in the footer. Then it will capture all the a elements. What I wanted to capture this specific element is I would like to go one tag above to see what the parent element is first. So the parent element was relied on the h2, and this is the end quotation. So it was binding up with the h2 tag, which has a class called name, and inside that it had an a element. So it was very easy for me to capture all the events at once, and accurate ones, basically. So this JavaScript function does the thing for me. Once everything was loaded on the website, it used to capture all the links inside that. Okay, so once that was done, it was next thing was to give it an assign, because what how we were being taking these things up is it was loaded inside an array which had n number of thing, but it wasn't possible to do so, because if you go to the JavaScript function, you will see this thing return urls dot join. So it was kind of being using and pipe function, and then it was making this in a string format. So this wasn't feasible enough for us to do so. Because of that, I had to, create this assign activity. What it does is it will first bring the URLs list in the one variable, and then we try to split that URL. Once it's done, I can write better JavaScript function for this, but I did not find much time to dig deep and write a proper JavaScript code that can be done within within this code itself, but this was the thing I got to know in the AI. And yeah, so it was doing the job for me. That is what I wanted. That is what basically I was doing it. Yeah. So first we bring all that variable inside the URL, and then we have set the values and making it a split. Okay. Once that is done, once the split is done, it will be storing inside this list. Okay. So this now has an entire website list which we needed to scrape things on. Then next, it was time to create a data table which will scrape things up and put this inside the tables. Okay. So this is what the built data table does. So it will create the table beforehand. Once we start to scrape, it will basically add the products inside that. Okay. So creating a table was the initial thing. So whenever you are, iterating things, first you need to create that table, and then only you can able to iterate. You cannot iterate things and then build table and then it happens. It doesn't happen like that. The data will not get stored properly. So first you create the table, and then you go inside the this is a loop basically. This is the another loop which will first open the URL. So I've given the URL for, so this is the for loop in this list. First you open first item, so it will open the first URL, and I've given a slight delay of zero point 0.5 milliseconds, and then it will start getting me all the text which I've needed. So I have this. Okay. And in this also I had a few problems, few issues which I would like to address. Is when I was started using this activity which is called get text. This is a get text activity which will get you the text inside that element. So what this activity, where when you are trying to indicate, this is where the option is. You will have the screen where you can indicate the screen. First you need to indicate first where do you will be pointing to which element you want to grab that text. And I simply just came here, and I want this text. And in that text it had and class element which was it like this. If I want to pull up the again, if I want to pull up the console log, and it had some element called it was having a product ID basically. So it was having that product ID, and with that I usually initially started to scrape only few products. So if I dot environment dot range or something, I don't know, that I took an help of AI, and I made them that it has hundreds of products that I don't want to scrape. First I want to make this in a test level. So in that test level it has something, there is a function somewhere that it will only scrape in within that range. So within like 7 products, first I will scrape it and I'll see it. If the datas are fine, then we'll move on. So within that I got some issues. Like it was first, when you are doing the get text element, you will have something called date. It was bounded inside the product ID. So the product ID was missing, right? So whatever this is, this product has some kind of an ID, and I've given that as an identity to get the text. But this was missing inside this particular page. Let's say it was scraping the product B, and product B has an ID called B, which was missing, and I've given the ID of product A. So this was missing and this was missing, and because of that I started getting errors, which then initially I've given the wildcard which is called asterisk. So I've given the wildcard element, so that when you are getting the element, make sure you are getting the element of every product which are based on this ID. So once the wildcard element was given, it was started giving me the scrape properly. And there are some elements like short description. Some of the products had did not have a short description, and yeah, but in my case, it was everything was available inside the full description. So I thought of ignoring that. So I commented out this process and I went down to scrape the other process inside that. Now, very interesting part would be is this getting the images URL. Okay. What my employer wants is they do not wanted just one product image, but entire product image which was there inside it. And that was a very tricky solution. But since I have already, did the injected JavaScript function, so I thought it would be nice to do in that way. But initially, I started to do this in get attribute activity. Yeah. So this was the activity which I was initially been using. And using this, I was not able to scrape things properly because it was scraping the small thumbnails inside that. So that wasn't feasible enough for me. So what I came to the solution is let's do it in the JavaScript, which I was doing it before. Let's do it in that way itself. Okay. So what did I did is I went on to the console and started to get this element because this element has all the images inside. And this side is only having the one image. But I wanted all the images inside. So I what I did is I went on and did this. And for that the same JavaScript function applies. So I've given this query, exact query, where this thing is belong, and then it will create the variable. And once the element is created, it will go inside this element that it will check first if it is having that HTTP. It starts with the HTTP URL. Every URL starts with the HTTP protocol, so it will first check that if this source has the PHP, then try to take that and push that in the URL. And once that is done, you join all the URLs using this pipe symbol. And let's say if the product doesn't have an image, it's a try catch. So I do not want to go this on JavaScript. So yeah, this is what it basically does. The code does. Once that is done, and yeah, other things are self-explanatory. And when I started to iterate, I had a few errors which I've been facing up with. So I have been using the message box to check. This is basically debugging. Every time if you are facing any issues in the programming or anything, there there is something you need to do is you need to debug things. You started to debug things, you will understand what is going on in that code. And in even in this process I needed that, so I started to do this in message box and check whether I'm getting the sources properly or not. So this was giving me 90 percentage of the idea whether I can able to do this or not. So this is where the idea comes that yeah, once it is done, I commented out those procedure and I started to add this in the data row. And once that hundreds of products data are been iterated properly, then what I have done is I have told um, to add this data table to an Excel sheet. And yeah, this is what the area is. So it will be creating a sheet name called cricket bats, and in that it will start from the A1. And what is the data table? That is the variable which I've created at the initial stage. And then it will export that to this path. And once that is done, my project is done. So this is the project which I worked in my organization, and did the automation process to scrape hundreds of products. Basically, to be precise, it was around 500 products which I could able to scrape. So yeah, my takeaway with this project is, first understand the way you will be doing this process first, like if you want to do this in manual process, how will you be doing it? For me, the tricky part is, there was no pagination. It was a lazy load website. So this process took me like 15 minutes of doing the thought process, that how can I, automate this process? If I want to automate this, how will I automate? Because there is no pagination. Otherwise, if there is was a pagination, let's say, like there is a button called next page, then it would be very easy. Like you scrape all this, store it, click on next, scrape it, store it. Oh, yeah. So that's how the pagination will work. And yeah, the first thing in the takeaway is, you need to understand how you would be doing this if you want to do this manually. And yeah, taken help of AI. Now AI, does incredible things for you. So taken help of that, and try to learn something. This is the software I haven't touched years. It has been long, and when I got to open this and I saw this, oh my god, this software has AI now. So I got it pretty much amazed and started using that AI tool. But I couldn't give a good prompt because I don't know how to do things. And when I started using this tool for first time, I was, very much convenient to use it manually rather than using it through AI. But the tool was really amazing. Like the AI stuff was spot on. But I need to, be comfortable with that, using it. Yeah, so take an help of AI if you want to do things. Uh, Productivity goes at the peak when you're using AI. Use an help of AI. Think how you would be doing this if you want to do it manually. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Hope you guys like this demonstration. And if you want me to do these kind of um, thing, let me know down in the comments. I would be happy to do so in my future projects which I've been doing. I will be trying to demonstrate those as well for you. And thank you so much for watching, and take care. Goodbye.